Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate all you guys. Back like we never left, BDA. And today, I'm here to talk about One Piece chapter 922, The Beast Pirates, Governor General Kaido. So off rip, I gotta say, a lot of controversy around this chapter. A lot more than I expected there to be, because this chapter, while it had a controversial moment, overall, I did not think it would go there. I didn't think it was necessary for it to go there to where it is now. But we're here, so screw it. We'll go there. The reactions to the chapter revolved around not only people supporting the chapter heavily, but also people on the other end denouncing the chapter, saying it was really bad. At the end of the day, One Piece is a big series, right? And we all love One Piece. Well, not we all, but most of us, we read the series, we love it. Why do we feel the need to attack someone that has a different opinion than us? My video with me going through the comments, that's coming. I'm going to add the comments from this video as well. Or not from this video, this week's reaction. Because we had some comments that I took a bit of offense to, because people were upset that I did not interpret the chapter, not even interpret the chapter. I did not love the chapter the way they did. And my response is just, I'm appalled, because we all are going to view things differently. If we all view things the same way, why are you even watching me? Why are you even watching other people? If you want everyone to think like you, we're all not going to think the same. And I'm going to go deeper as we go on. But the reactions around this chapter is just, it's abysmal. Why are we attacking each other? Oh, you don't like it enough, so you should drop the series. Oh, you fanboy too much. You give Oda too many passes. Why does it always go there for chapters like these when it doesn't have to? I mean, I didn't want to start the video off this way, but the comments and some of the stuff I'm seeing around the community on Twitter, yo, we got to do better. We got to do better as far as not attacking each other in the fandom. It doesn't make sense. We can all coexist as lovers of One Piece. But anyway. The cover page, chapter 922, it is a fan request in which we have Koala. And Koala, she is with the fighting dugongs. All right, she's with the fighting dugongs, or the kung fu dugongs, and she's teaching them fishman karate. Something I really didn't care about, but it's cool to see. So if people want to delve deeper into that, they can. This is just a fan request, so that is what it is. I want to talk about the chapter. They're reiterating that Kaido is a dragon. And the most key thing at the beginning is that Kinemon, one, he noticed that Kaido's a dragon, and he reiterated, yo, he's a dragon. So he knew about that from the rip. Also, they said Kaido has the ability to transform into a dragon. So what does that really mean? For real, what does that really mean? That Kaido has the ability to transform into a dragon. So last week, the theory that was floating around the community that got a lot of traction was that Kaido was actually a dragon that could transform into a Oni or another thing. But the dragon form, that's his default. This says he's able to transform into a dragon. Of course, the knowledge of Kaido being an Oni or being a dragon, that may not be privy to a lot of people, but from what they know, transforming into the dragon is his ability. I'm not saying it's confirmed that Kaido is definitely or definitively a dragon and has a mythical zone fruit, but that's where I'm leaning heavily. For me, that's where I'm leaning. I know a lot of people feel differently because they want their theories to come true. They want to rock with that. That's fine. I understand that. But for me, I'm leaning heavily that Kaido is just a mythical Zoan. That's it. Sometimes we overthink and then we kind of look past exactly what we're trying to find, right? Because we're trying so hard to tie things together in a meticulous and complicated way. We overlook the simplicity of how Oda goes about things. And then pretty much what we thought it would be from the jump, and we're like, nah, it wouldn't be that simple. It ends up being that. So I think Kaido's just a mythical Zoan, a dragon. And Orlando has different perspective, thinking Kaido's an ancient Zoan because dragons did exist in the world of One Piece. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Kaido's an ancient Zoan. It would be a bit disappointing if the strongest Zoan, the guy, land, air, sea, bet on Kaido, the strongest thing alive, is just an ancient Zoan. A bit disappointing when we know the mythical Zoans, they're a step above the other Zoans. So I think Kaido's definitely a mythical Zoan. Let's talk about Law a little bit. Law's acting not weird, but okay. Before I get to Law, talk about Momo. I said in my reaction that Momo transformed this chapter after Kaido, started going crazy. But actually, in last chapter, Momo transformed. At the end of last chapter, towards the end, we saw Momo. We saw a panel of Momo, right? So Momo had initially transformed back then. What does this mean? Something is triggering this transformation. It could be PTSD, right? It could be that, or it could just be Kaido has a way of affecting Zoans around him. If that's Kaido's power and that's how he operates, that's a special ability of his devil fruit, we have a lot more on our hands than we first anticipated. But I'm not going to jump the gun there. I'm just saying Momonosuke is reacting to Kaido just being in the area. Just seeing Kaido drives him crazy. He transforms immediately into his devil fruit form. Now with this form, it had not been seen by Shinobu and Okiku. And let's put this in perspective. Oden died 20 years ago, but to them, he died a few months ago by dragon fire, right? Being boiled alive. The son of Oden is now a dragon. That is so messed up in so many ways. It almost seems like this was premeditated. Like someone wanted him to become this thing. And I'm sure people in the comments are going to be like, obviously Oda. Yes, I hear you, but it could be some other motives behind Momonosuke stumbling upon this fruit and eating it. You starve a kid, not give him enough food, and then he stumbles upon a smile devil fruit that's in front of him that looks like an apple. He's going to eat it. I'm just saying, it's just so ironic. And like Kinemon said, it's detestable that my father died by a dragon. Now I am one of them. That's a huge thing to overcome. Becoming something that you hate and living as that thing that you hate, because Momo hates himself. Of course, we see the brat. We see the side of him that we don't really like as fans. But when you delve a bit deeper into that character at that age, dealing with all of that, you have to commend him for even still being remotely positive. Of course, we had that thing with Luffy at the end of Zou, where Luffy challenged him to speak up for himself. That took a lot. Not from Luffy, but from Momo. Because he's been through a lot and he's still a kid. So to handle these adult responsibilities at that age is tough. Shit. Handling adult responsibilities as an adult is tough. So I think we should give Momo more props than we do, because we really don't give him any props at all. I saw, like, after we saw Otama, people were already saying, yo, get Momo out of here. Otama over Momo. 2 chapters in Wano. Crazy shit. So Kaido, he's over Okobore Town. And they're all wondering, why did Kaido come to Kuri? So this takes me back to Law. I'm not saying Law is going to betray Luffy and the squad. I'm not saying Law is going to kill anybody on the squad. All I'm saying is Law is annoyed. He's annoyed. Off rip, Law says, Law tells Kinemon, because Kinemon is like, why did he come to Korea so suddenly? Law tells Kinemon, my bad. Zoro, Luffy, and myself were all exposed. Sanji steps up to him and said, what did you do? Okay. Law was correct, saying they have no right. They should not even think about stepping to him about exposing them himself. Law was not exposed the entire time he was in Wano. Law was exposed when he went to save Luffy's ass. Went to find out what was going on with Luffy. Then Hawkins was going over to apprehend Luffy. Law stepped up. Hawkins like, yeah, I know who that is. You can't hide from me. So for Law, Law's like, do you understand why I'm here? Do you understand what your captain did? What your your fighter did? Whatever, vice captain, whatever. What he did? He exposed himself quickly. Zoro was supposed to play an integral role in the plan. They even said it, like Zoro is going to be pretty much useless here. As far as the plan is concerned, I don't think he's going to be useless in the arc. But as far as the plan, nothing. Not bringing anything to the table there. So, Law is correct saying, don't say anything to me, bro. You guys messed up. I'm still covering tracks. But they backed down. They backed down and apologized. So that made it kosher. That made it okay. But as far as Law betraying Luffy, I don't see it right now. But I see him maybe taking a break from the Straw Hats, saying he's going to do his own thing for a while. Because as much as we enjoy the dynamic between Law and the Straw Hats, they're not his speed. I don't think they're his speed as far as like how they go about things at all. But I think being around that kind of opens your eyes as to how other people think. How unpredictable people think. Because the Straw Hats are super unpredictable. Very. So for Law, I think he's annoyed because he had a plan, they had a strategy, and boom, just like that, everything blows up in his face. He's fighting a headliner hours later, it seems, after Luffy and those guys arrive. So I understand his frustration. Okay. The bad part of this chapter, this came early, was when they pretty much did a recap within dialogue where they told you the hierarchy and the system that Kaido had with Doflamingo and Caesar. He even referenced that they were the ones that destroyed the factory, blah, 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 blah. That was interesting to me. He mentioned destroying the production factories on Punk Hazard and Dressrosa. Destroying the factories, it made me go back and think about Law. Kind of is like I call that the hands of time. I call that, that's what I call that episode, because Law in that episode, he basically set in motion in his mind a new era by cutting Virgo down, by slicing that mountain in half, by slicing that factory in half. So it was interesting that Law is the one that said, yo, we were the ones who destroyed the production factories on Punk Hazard and Dressrosa. Law indeed did. Got that out of there. So what I didn't like is him saying, yeah, we sent Doflamingo, the buyer, to rot in jail. Of course, there's still animosity there because Corazon ain't coming back. He's gone. He's gone. So for Law, there's still a lot of ill will towards Dofi. So he'd much rather Dofi rot in jail than to ever see him again. And I get that. I do. What was a bit strange, well, not a bit strange, it was interesting, because after all this went on, Law gave his whole speech as far as like everything. Luffy takes off. And of course, based on how Luffy's bonds and everything he made with that country, the people of Okabura Town, he felt it was his, I guess, problem, his right. He had motive to go and support those people because he made a promise saying going forward, this food is going to be the norm. So for Luffy, he kind of feels obligated to go. So Luffy goes. He gets out of there. And again, he's going to Okobori Town because of the bond they had, and seeing Kaido, it's big. It's huge. My issue with this chapter or last chapter was how deep Oda went with the plans. Frankie's going to do this. He said Sanji's going to do something. Nami's going to do something. So he had all those things built in there as far as what they were going to do. And it felt like it dragged on a bit, telling us like the elaborate details of the plan as far as like the blueprints. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. I like when we get a lot of information, but I like when the information proceeds to bearing some fruit. I don't like getting useless information. I don't like you telling me something, then it just debunked the next chapter. Not saying that's what happened with this chapter, because Law said, well, myself, Luffy, Zoro, we were the only ones discovered. Nobody else knows you guys are here, so the plan still goes on. But, what was interesting, Law said, I want to turn a blind eye to this. Because Law, for Luffy and how he does his antics, Law typically is like, whatever, I'm going to rock with it. Law said, I want to turn a blind eye to this. But I can't. He goes on to explain that Luffy's bonded with the country and he understands how Luffy operates now. That's what's key here. He understands how Luffy operates. But he says, on the other hand, if he's blinded by his emotions and attacks recklessly, the plan is over. So Luffy's very integral to the plan. Law even said if you don't have enough people by the final battle, there's no point in the alliance, which I think that means that you're not going to have enough and they're going to have to make it up somehow, some way. Maybe another character comes in, but they're going to have to make it up in some way by either numbers or a huge force. And the person that's on my mind right now is like Marco. Marco coming in with a few people, or Marco coming along with the old white beard pirates or the new white beard pirates. You bring Marco, Jozu, Vista. And I think Vista would be key here because last chapter we saw Shuten using flower style. Right? We saw him having the petals and that stuff like when Vista cut. So that may be the case with that one. Law leaves. And Law tells him not to be seen. And Sanji's worried like, Luffy, what did you do this entire time? What did you do, bro? Because they know how Luffy is. So they're just worried because they have to wait. At the same time, Kaido's still there. And they gave a great perspective to show where Kaido was in comparison to where everyone was. Because we're starting to kind of make the map now of like, okay, Kaido's over there. We're to his left. That's where we are. Pretty far away. It was painting the picture. But in this next thing that's coming up, the people are freaking out. They're freaking out because a huge dragon is circling the town. Just going around the town. And he's saying there's a pretty strong thief that's been hiding within the forest of Kuri. And he says him by name, Shutenmaru. What was funny was that Hold'em thought he came to execute him. I don't think Kaido cares about you, bro. I don't think Kaido would come down personally to execute you. But Hold'em, a little delusional. I still don't know how strong he is. Maybe he's a lot stronger than we saw, but he took a full throttle Red Hawk from Luffy, and he's all bandaged up. Shutenmaru, probably my favorite character in Wano so far. My favorite new character in Wano so far. And it's not because of hype, or it's just because of layers. Of course, the hype helps, but it helps me to create layers of this character. This character off the rip is a powerful character. He's Ashura Doji. He was the strongest person in Kuri before Odin came down there and beat him. And he kind of domesticated him. Not domesticated, that's a bad word. Odin made a man out of him. Odin said it said Odin taught these people how to work. He built rivers, dams. Like, Odin made this place, Kuri, a free place to live in which people can enjoy and work and just have a quality of life, right? That's up here. That was Odin. And the thing is that we got to deep dive into Odin eventually, because the things that Odin did at his age, it's almost unheard of. At 20 years old, he was at a point in his life in which he felt that I don't care how many Ronin are down there, how many strong evildoers are down there. I have to go and fix this. And again, they said he was a hothead. His dad kicked him out. But he went down there and he fixed it. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't, but he fixed it. And then after that, sans that, they still have a lot of respect for Odin. They said Whitebeard had respect for him. Kaido had respect for him. We have to find out more about Odin. He's too interesting not to find out more about him. But anyway, back to Shittenmaru. This layered character. And while his motives are unclear to a lot of people, I think he wants to be, he wants to save his country. At the end of the day, he wants Wano to prosper again. He wants the way of the samurai to continue, to be passed down. Sometimes for a man, nothing is more important than your legacy. What are you leaving behind? Do you think Shittenmaru could die an honorable death, knowing that he left behind a Wano like this? A Wano where the Kozuki clan is being slandered? A Wano where what Odin built no longer exists? And this is pointed out by how he reacted to the end of the chapter as well. Shittenmaru is searching for people to fight with him. Also searching for somebody, some person to step out of the woodwork, step out there and be the leader that Wano needs. I think sometimes swordsmen, even though they're qualified to lead a rebellion like that, or to lead a situation like that, to liberate a country, they refrain based on their past. And they feel like they're not worthy to lead men because of how many things they did when they were younger. So that may be a thing with Shittenmaru. Or Ashura Doji, because this is even further information or further confirmation that Shittenmaru could be Ashura Doji. They also showed, again, Kaido said, "I remember you," to Shittenmaru. And they showed a flashback of Shittenmaru, and I'm naming this person Kawamatsu. That's the person with the ponytail that Kinemon mentioned we have to find. That's two people out of the three that Kinemon mentioned we had to find. And if you remember, one of those guys, he had on the hat, the straw hat. So he's one of the people that stayed back, even though he was with Kinemon, Kanjuro, and those guys at the end there. He stayed back after Lady Toki's wishes. He stayed back. But another key point here. In chapter 920, they mentioned the minks, and as far as the minks being captured, right? So the minks were captured. Obviously, they got free. I'm willing to bet that Ashura, Kawamatsu, and the other guy, his name escapes me, they helped free the minks. As retainers of Odin, as a retainer of Odin, that Kinemon is, he kind of owed him that. Owed him that. You have to free Odin's boys. At the end of the day, you got to do it. So I think that's what happened. And I was saying that maybe someone perished versus Kaido. And I've gotten a few people saying that, yo, Shittenmaru may have been the one that injured Kaido. I don't think so, because right now it's a 2-1. And Kaido obviously got out of it okay. And so did Shittenmaru. The other guy, we're not so sure. He could be dead. This part didn't mess me up that much. But I don't know. I felt some type of way. And it's not because of this character at all. It's not because of him I think it's because of what I experienced in Whole Cake Island. I'm not saying Whole Cake Island was a bad arc. I've said it time and time again. However, the Yonko, I felt like they were overlooked and undermined, and they kind of got played, well, Big Mom in particular, for the Straw Hats to escape. That's the only way you could have done it. One of Big Mom's strongest fighters was a -10 overall for the arc. Smoothie. No positives. Absolutely none. Unless you require juice tasting. Unless you require that, Smoothie had a net negative. It was mind-boggling. So to see Kaido being the drunk that he is, I'm not as mad at that. Initially, I was just like, man, come on. But that's his thing. In One Piece, that's a thing. People have personalities. People have things they do, things they don't, quirks they like, quirks they don't. That's what people do in One Piece. So I think this being so linear and just saying like, yo, this person has a gag or a quirk, they're trash now. It's like everybody has this, especially the villains. So for Kaido, it didn't bother me that much. It was just like, okay, I see what's going on here. And for me, and that would make a lot of sense for Kaido just popping up, because Hawkins is like, yo, what is he doing here? Jack was like, whoa, what is he doing here? It was confusing to a lot of them. So him being drunk is a great explanation in that moment, because it was foreshadowed before that he likes to drink. Jack. Compared to Kaido, Jack looked very civil here. Jack even said, yo, this nigga crazy. Jack said Kaido is crazy after he took limbs, went to face off against 3 admirals, went to face off against an entire island. Still saying that, yeah, Jack is crazy. Jack is insane. He's really insane. But I like this Jack. I really do, because this Jack, again, thought a bit more. He said, the residents of Okobore Town are the factory's workforce. He said one of the citizens are okay, but a rampage completely decimates Kuri. We don't want that. They're the fuel. We need the fuel. Messed up, but that's what they said. Back to Luffy and him running away. That's instinct. Running away is instinct. Shying is instinct. Reacting, instinct. You instinctively do these things as a sign of a response. That's how your body responds to situations like that. Luffy ran towards the problem because he made a pact with the Okobore Town people. And Law is telling him not to do that. We can't risk it, Luffy. Kinemon is headed to Utsuru because he thought Utsuru moved on and married somebody else. And their relationship is a bit weird because Oda keeps highlighting things that they say to each other. He keeps highlighting it. So that's something we need to pay attention to going forward for sure. Hawkins yells out General Kaido. If you're looking for Luffy and Law, pretty much they're at the ruins of Odin Castle. They're hiding there. I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't upset at it because initially I was like, yo, he a snitch. But then as it went on, it goes to show that Hawkins just made an educated guess. He just made a guess. And this guy, I think more than anyone, Hawkins being a subordinate of a right hand or a Yonko commander is very scary. Because he can play utility or he can go on offense. And he can see the future, use your cards, amplify your powers. Yeah. That's impressive. But Jack, after Hawkins told him everything about Luffy and Law, Jack was like, is that true? And then Kaido was like, at Odin Castle? And then Hawkins was like, no, I lied. So that he would stop his rampage. But he mentioned rumors. Then they said the destruction of the ruins allows them to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Because apparently Lord Orochi is so terrified of these things, the ruins are not touched. fire is not something that's prevalent. That is difficult. But as far as Jack was concerned, it was taken out. Did it bringing about the destruction of the ruins, with the Straw Hats being there, and then also fanning the flames, or not fanning the flames, removing or destroying, getting rid of the flames that Lord Orochi is scared of. I mess with it. That's the Jack I like. Jack that can think. But he never said he couldn't think. He was just savage. Kaido turns his ire towards Odin Castle. Who's at Odin Castle? The Straw Hats. The Straw Hats in the Alliance, they're there. Minus Luffy and a few of the others. They're there. With this, it starts getting a bit crazy. All right. Kaido is still upset. Visibly. Oda mentions it several times. Call them detestable. He called them detestable rookies. Right? When they mentioned that as well, Shitamaru says to himself, wait, at the ruins of Odin Castle? And now things have piqued Shitamaru's interest. And I'm going to bring that up again after the fact, because I think that's something that's going to be important going forward. We go back to the perspective of everyone that's there. All they see is a great dragon coming their way. And he uses heat breath. And it looks like it completely eradicates everything there. Everything around the area. And the reaction of Luffy was one that was terrified. Law was pretty much cool, but Luffy was a bit terrified. And this kind of triggered Luffy doing what he did at the end. Shitamaru even commented, yo, Odin Castle, that bastard, where it bothered him. It bothered Ashura. That's what I'm going to call him. Ashura Doji. And again, Jack is calling Kaido crazy in the midst of all of this. Okay. So this is the moment in the chapter. We have Law, they're still running. Law wonders where Luffy went. Luffy goes straight up for an attack on Kaido. He uses Gear 3, Gama Gama no Elephant Gun on Kaido's head. Kaido looks up to see what it is, and then the chapter ends with a sometimes this is used as a knockout face, and Luffy looking pissed. I have issues. And the thing that got me was the reaction after everything that transpired. The reaction of Luffy got me. And then, of course, the punch on Kaido got me. So immediately I had two emotions to two great things, two great sequences in the story, and I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to act. Immediately I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Because it wasn't hype. It just made me question a lot of things. So I know a lot of people went into the comments and they talked about how I felt in my reaction, and that's fine. But one of the questions I had was, why didn't Luffy just go Gear 4th? If you're that upset, why not go Gear 4th? If you're acting strictly off emotion like that, why not go Gear 4th? Luffy went Gear 4th versus Cracker, and Cracker teased him about Sanji. Emotion, Gear 4th. Went Gear 4th versus Big Mom to get one hit in. Emotion, Gear 4th. You fight another Yonko, you assume, I'll touch on that as well, your crew is wiped out, you go Gear 3rd to get a punch in on Kaido? That's why I don't think Luffy believed his crew was wiped out. Now people are asking the question, Brago, what would you want Luffy do, huh? That's Luffy. He gonna be Luffy. My guys, rationally, you see a Biju bomb go over to where your friends are. I'm not attacking the enemy. I'm going to make sure my friends are okay. That's the first thing I'm worried about. Are my friends okay? Because typically, the more time you take, if there's a friend that could be saved, they're not going to be saved. You have to go make sure your friend is okay. But there's another way to handle it. Luffy didn't go to beat Kaido while he attacked him. Luffy went to show Kaido to distract him. Fuck the ruins. They're gone. Worry about me. That's what Luffy did. I feel like Luffy's initial plan was to not only draw him away from the ruins, but also away from Okabori Town. Luffy, that was his plan. Thinking about it, reading it. I read the past 5 chapters. I went back and read the first couple chapters of Wano. Luffy has been impressive. Mentally, he's been impressive. He's had his funny moments, but mentally, how he dismantled Hold'em. Some of the bandits back then. Casual, quick, seamless. Then Kaido uses Gear 3rd. As far as the strength of Gear 3rd, regardless of how much stronger Luffy got, because he did indeed get stronger. Gear 3rd does not eclipse to the point that it's affecting Kaido, to the point of beating him. But Luffy knows, using Gear 3rd, I'm not using my stamina that I have to use for Gear 4th. Packs a punch, like Dofi said. And I can distract Kaido even a little bit away from Okabori Town and my crew. I do not think Luffy believed his crew was dead. At all. Because, me for one, it would be hypocritical. Not only of Luffy, but of the fan base. People consistently tells Luffy or tells Luffy's crew to believe in him. And at a time in which Luffy should believe in his crew, we're upset at that. Believe in your crew. They got that. They got attacked from a Yonko. He know who's over there. But he's drawing attention away from Okabori Town. But as well as drawing attention away from his crew. That's his job. I'm not mad at the reaction. I just didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to feel about it. How do I feel about Luffy basically putting the entire plan in jeopardy? That's my reaction. The entire plan. A manhunt is now coming. That's not the case. The plan is still intact. As far as Kaido's concerned, the only people that are there are Law, Luffy, Zoro. We're good. But Luffy had to do that as a captain. The reaction was sudden, but Luffy has been doing that time and time again throughout the arc. He had to do this. Upon further review, he had to do this. Because say he goes to where his crew is. What if Kaido fires again? Remember Big Mom and Elbaf Spear? And they said, yo, we can't take any more of those. What if the crew is in that exact situation right now? It's like, well, yo, we can't take any more of those. Luffy had to do this. I'm not as bothered and annoyed with him as I was in reaction. I actually commend him for being able to react that quickly. He left. Immediately, his mind was on the people of Okabori Town. And honestly, it's kind of swag because for Luffy, he's thinking like a protector, an overseer. Like he's thinking like Wano is already his territory. Now, as far as the power and all that stuff, throw that out the window for now. This is not how Kaido's going to go down. Lido and Lack and throw that out the window. We can have fun with that in the chat in times when you want to. That's do you. But at this point, we're looking at actions, reactions, and how you're handling situations. And I think for this situation, Luffy probably handled it the best way you could handle it in this situation. So at the end of it, the chapter is a lot better to me now after rereading. I reread this chapter like 6-7 times. Like, what is it? What am I missing? Why isn't it connecting to me? Why am I so bothered with this? Why didn't the final panel move me? Now it speaks volumes. Now when I see the panel, I'm thinking back to I have my crew. I'm thinking back to run. Because these emotional moments it's kind of molded Luffy to where he is now. People say he hasn't learned from Ace. He hasn't grown up. This is learning from Ace. This right here is showing growth. On its surface, it seems selfish. I just gotta get a hit in. But this is the most selfless thing he could do. Not only for his crew, but for the people of Okobore Town. If Luffy runs away now, they're going after Luffy. Forget Okobore Town. But it goes even deeper than that. This hit to Kaido has caused more damage than Kaido even knew about. Than Kaido even realizes. Than Luffy even realizes. One of the most powerful things that exist in this world is doubt. Overcoming doubt is difficult, especially after time and time and time again, doubt has been there. You have hope at the beginning. Then slowly, the more hope dies, breeds doubt. 20 years ago, hope. Lady Toki gave them hope. Every single day after that, doubt. Doubt grew and hope dwindled. Now doubt is here. Hope is here. Luffy attacking Kaido. The Straw Hats being at the ruins of Odin. Doubt was here. And I'm speaking from in a general perspective from the people of Wano, but let's go to Shutenmaru. Doubt was here. He was screaming doubt the entire time when he pulled up. There's no samurai here. There ain't no leaders here. There's nobody. Weak. Doubt. That old lady, some hope. What Luffy just did? Shutenmaru's thinking, wait. That old lady just said something about Lady Toki. I've been good for all these years. I run into a calamity. I've been good for all these years. I run into Kaido. Yo, this is like... It doesn't make sense how things are happening. This doesn't make sense to me. How? But then he's questioning like, Odin's castle? What are they doing at Odin's? No. Then all of a sudden you look up. You see this kid attacking this person who's had a stranglehold on Wano this entire time. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Damn. We have hope again. This punch has led and opened the eyes of not only Shutenmaru, his subordinates, the people that saw it, because they're looking at Luffy like, I don't know, this guy's crazy, he's insane, but you're telling me there's a chance. Word is going to go to the Alliance. Word is going to go to the people that support Odin. Yeah, Odin's ruins were destroyed, but they had people there. People were gathering there? People were gathering? That's big. That little punch? Big. It's almost so insignificant. But it's big. It's huge. It's really huge. So 8.5 to 9 for me. I gave it a 7.5 to 7 when I did the reaction. Now this chapter is an 8.5 to a 9 for me because of that punch and what it could mean. And Luffy's actions, brilliant. You may not agree with me. You may think, you're capping. That's fine. But I think at times I'm allowed to be irrational. I'm allowed to say what comes to my mind. It's a reaction. If you kick me and I hit you, then you get mad at how hard I hit you. Why? I reacted. After the fact, I'm like, you know what? I probably hit you too hard. But at that point, that's on you, bro. You shouldn't hit me. Fucking tangent, but yeah. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Again, 8.5 to a 9, around there. I'm still digesting it. I'm still taking it all in. Still watching more videos. I haven't watched too many videos from people. I've seen a few Twitter posts, threads, people talking about it. But I didn't want to kind of contaminate myself. I wanted to okay, let me look at it again. Let me make sure I'm good. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. We good. We're good. This is good stuff. What happens going forward? That's anybody's guess, right? It could be a situation in which Luffy draws the attention away, then goes. It could be a situation in which Luffy lands his punch, Law switches him out. Kaido's like, yo, what was that? At the end of the day, this had to be done on so many levels. And I hope you guys see it that way. If you don't, put them below. Put how you feel below. How do you feel about what Luffy did? How do you feel about Kaido? Another thing is people talking about the portrayal of Yonko's expectations versus reality. I am 600 words into a script in which I'm talking about expectations of characters versus the reality, and the focus are the 4 Yonko. That will be dropping more than likely Sunday, in which I give you a breakdown of how we've interpreted these characters from introduction to where we see them to reality and what to expect going forward. These gags are going to be there. We went down the line of characters that Luffy's faced and talked about gags and quirks and things that they had. Luffy overcame some people with strength. Kuro, Crocodile, Enel, but they had character flaws. My issue with people sometimes is when they have a problem with a character flaw. Sometimes the flaw can be somehow convenient for the opposition, in the case of it being Luffy. Still a flaw. The problem is when the flaw is exaggerated to the point that it affects the story in a way that is unrealistic. Like there's no way. A bit of that happened in Whole Cake, I believe, where Big Mom's hunger pangs, we understood them. They happened randomly. But at that moment, Big Mom had the worst hunger pang she's ever had. Ever. Perospero said it numerous times. We don't know what to expect. And then the story, while I don't think it went completely to shit, it suffered a bit. It dragged on. It made incompetence shine through. The window of repetitiveness, incompetence shone through that. With Kaido's drunken stupor, it's reminiscent to Big Mom. I agree. You can think that, but I think it's going to be completely different. Completely different. Of course, Big Mom's hunger pangs and Kaido's possible addiction could be similar. I don't think Oda would go that route of making two characters that are on the same level defeated in the same way. Or overcome in the same way, in which it's grounded in incompetence. Big Mom's family was defeated because of incompetence and betrayal. I don't think that happens here. If you want an example, we look at warlords and how they've been defeated. How Crocodile was defeated. A bit overconfident, but he thought Luffy was dead. Luffy picked up on some things, used Water Luffy. At the end, he fought Crocodile the third time and overcame Crocodile with his strength and his tactics. Fighting Doflamingo, Doflamingo was on another level. Used another form, still could not defeat Doflamingo. Had an ally. Then he was able to weaken Doflamingo, get help from the town, then defeat Doflamingo. Two warlords that could not be any more similar. Any more, like, Doflamingo and Crocodile are so similar in the way they go about things. Not go about things, but in the way they wanted to execute their plans. Very similar. People mirror Dressrosa and Alabasta all the time. Fundamentally different arcs. But a lot of similarities in the characters and in the arcs. But it's so different in how we went about it. Even though the similarities are there. So I expect the same thing here. Yeah, you could say I'm drowning in positivity, but I really enjoyed the chapter after that eighth reread. Got sicko mode on blast for the second part of it. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. You guys enjoyed the video last time, so I was like, this is going to be a thing going forward in which I give you guys this me, right? Me, and how I interpret the chapters after reading them several times. So there you have it. Let me know what you think. Please. I would like to know how you feel about what I said. And of course, I welcome critique. I welcome all critique. I don't welcome disrespect. It happens all the time. But the thing is, I understand with attention is going to be good and bad. It's going to be positivity, is going to be negativity. The positivity, it doesn't hit home if negativity does not exist. So negativity is going to be there. I overlook it a lot of times. I just ignore it. I play it off. But sometimes I'm human. I get annoyed. I get frustrated. Not event smoke. But anyway, I appreciate you guys coming through and supporting and showing love to the reactions and the streams and the premieres and all that stuff. It is greatly appreciated. I promise you, I'm working as hard as I can to get out as much content as possible, to improve production value, to make sure that the streams are not choppy, to make sure that everything is running as well as possible, to make sure I'm putting out the best content as possible, because I'm trying to grow this family. I'm trying to grow this squad. 100%. And I guess I can give you guys a bit of what's to come, but I'm going to do a stream around that. So look out for a stream tomorrow, a candid stream in which I'm going to just talk about like some plans that I have for the channel. So anyway, again, like the video, subscribe if you have not for more content like this. I appreciate it. Shout out to all of my patrons. Again, they get the after streams, the before streams. They get extra content. I'm actually reworking the levels and what you get access to. I'm going to try to have a bi-weekly stream for my patrons. That's going to be streamed, but not saved on a channel. It's going to be saved on another channel. BDA law. But bi-weekly streams, if you're a patron of a certain level, you will qualify for that. And of course, in these streams, anybody will be able to come through based on your level, right? And of course, we're gonna have my guys in there. Whoever wants to jump in, come in, talk, and just talk about whatever. Bi-weekly stream for an hour. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. I plan to have a lot of fun. Hunter x Hunter is definitely coming this weekend. I promise. Some Boku no Hero content, probably. The Naruto tournament, probably. But I just want to get as much content as I can to you guys. And I'm working on some skits as well. So yeah, for the final time, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I will catch you guys later. If you're interested in the merch, look in the description box down below. Shout out to my boy Trent Money. Obviously my favorite hoodie right now. I rock it all the time. Obviously I wash it, but probably need a few more. Probably need a gray one. Need to holler at Trent for that one. But anyway, like the video, subscribe. Catch you guys later.